What's like the one thing that like you learned the most from your dad that you use in your life now?
If a deal isn't good for both sides, then it's not a good deal. A one-sided deal is eventually going to either fall apart or come back and haunt you. It's just not the way to do business.
Yeah.
And my dad was a very fair man and didn't take advantage of people. And I carry in that tradition.
I love that. That was a fair trade with the Luka thing, I guess. I mean, it had to go there, Jeanie. Welcome to Games with Names. I'm Julian Edelman. They're Jack and Kyler, and we're on a mission to find the greatest game of all time. On today's episode, we are covering Game 6 of the 2020 NBA Finals. Miami Heat versus the LA Lakers with co-founder of WOW, Women of Wrestling, LA icon, and Lakers governor, Jeanie Buss. We get into talking LeBron James bubble championship.
LeBron comes over and hugs me and whispers in my ear, "I told you we would do this."
What Kobe Bryant means to the Lakers.
I know that Kobe knew how much we loved him. You can't replace that.
And behind the scene of the Luka trade.
It could blow up our season. So it was completely kept under wraps.
Yeah. And then we're checking in with Jackie in this week's Chill Zone presented by Coors Light. You got to stick around to the very end. Games with Names is a production of iHeartRadio. October 11th, 2020. ESPN Worldwide Sports Complex, Lake Buena Vista, Florida.
Uncertain times make for an unprecedented path to winning it all.
But one thing's for certain, LeBron James and the Lakers have banner 17 in their sights.
This is the Banner 17 game.
Well, we have a very, very special guest. The Queen of LA. The Queen of Sport. We got Jeanie Buss in the Nut House. Welcome to the Nut House. In one sentence, why did we pick Game 6 2020 NBA Finals Heat versus Lakers game?
Because that was the most recent one, most recent championship, and a unique game because it took place in the bubble.
Is it the greatest game of all time?
No.
I mean, that's an integrity type score.
I think it's the most interesting.
Yeah. It is a very interesting game. I want to dive into it. But at first, can you walk us through the day-to-day life of an owner of an NBA team? I'm interested because I kind of know what the NFL is, but you guys have so many less players. You have to have such intimate relationships with like all your players. What's your day-to-day life?
Well, we like to call ourselves governors now as opposed to owners. And I'm a co-owner because it's my family's team.
No.
And we have other partial owners, but I'm the governor, which the governor means that you are responsible for every decision that is made by the team. You know, there's only one governor.
There's only one governor.
So, it is about, putting out fires when things go wrong, and there's always something that goes wrong. You're never prepared for everything. But, I oversee the business operations, which includes broadcast, marketing, sponsorship, season seat sales, social media. And then, of course, the basketball department, which would be responsible for putting together the roster, hiring the coach. We're a particularly close team. And I think some of the things that we've gone through the last few seasons, especially most recently the fires in LA, has, kind of put the friendships in an even more meaningful way because you realize how quickly you can lose things. And so our brand new coach, JJ Redick, When we hired him, I was very excited. Clearly a basketball mind, great communicator, great competitor, wants to win, super smart. And he had to move his family from Brooklyn, and his wife and 2 young kids. And I'm not sure they were really excited about moving because he took the job. They were already in school, and, so now they have to uplift away from all their friends and come to LA. So they rent a house, and it lost it in the fires.
I heard about that.
So, I was worried that his wife was going to say, okay, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not, this was not meant to be. But instead, it's like they realize, they want to be part of rebuilding the community.
Yeah.
And they've already, really taken their place in Laker, the Laker family. And, so, I do a lot of different things.
That's amazing. And when you talk about community and Laker, I've been in LA now for like 15 years, full time, 2 years. And this is such a Laker town. Like that's a one thing, because I'm a football guy. They always have a couple football teams. They're bouncing back and forth. Baseball is pretty good. They love the Dodgers, but this is like such a Laker town. And it's so great to see how you guys are with the community, because I watch the local news. You put on the local news when you get older. I'm sitting there watching. I see you guys going to charity events, rebuilding stuff. And it's freaking like the Lakers are LA. And it's awesome. I also have a really important question. I'm a podcast host. Do you think Patriots will probably give me a shot at a head coaching title?
Are you interested in that?
No, I'm not. Not at all.
Are you sure?
Because JJ, man, you would podcast a head coach.
Bob Kraft was really, really good friends with my dad.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he credits my dad to getting him involved in sports.
Oh, wow.
Because the very first team that Bob Kraft owned was a team called the Boston Lobsters, which was part of World Team Tennis. And that was, my dad's first team was the LA Strings World Team Tennis, a league that was started by Billie Jean King. And, through their friendship, every year on my dad's birthday until he passed away, Bob Kraft would send him live lobsters from Boston, which was very cool.
Yeah.
But he, they were talking about the Patriots were for sale, and he called my dad and said, "What do you think about that?" And he said, "Absolutely, do whatever it takes to get the team." And so he bought the Patriots. And the rest is history. He's a great owner.
He's an unbelievable guy. Like, I love Mr. Kraft. We had a very special relationship. I just want to thank you because it's because of your bloodline that I have that relationship with Mr. Kraft.
It's all full circle.
It's all full circle. What's it like owning an NBA team? Like, and you were born in this because you were 18 when your dad got the team. You've been around the team. You've had so many different roles in other sports to prepare you to become this. What's it like owning a goddamn? What's the biggest perk? You got to have some crazy perks out here in LA. Do you know the tunnels? Is there underground tunnel system? I'm really interested in that. Is that real?
Yes.
I know you have the key.
You mean underneath?
There's an underground tunnel system.
Yes.
Jesus, what is it? How is it?
I mean, it's just so you can access across the street without having to leave the area and cross the street.
Hey guys, it's real.
But I still don't understand why you don't want to be a coach. Can I talk you into it?
I'll tell you this right now. I love football, and I have a lot of great experience from football, and I have a lot of knowledge of the game because I learned from probably three of the greatest sports minds in my sport. Mr. Kraft as an owner, Coach Belichick, and Tom Brady as a competitor. So, but I love the game. But I remember as a player, I would leave a 12-hour job, like 12, 13 hours of putting my work in all day. Football is different. We're preparing all day because there's one game. So you're literally doing everything you can to perform your best for 3 hours on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. So I would leave after a 14-hour day, and our coaches are in the parking lot seeing their family for the first time, and they would go back in for night meetings, and that's the only time they would see their family. Now, when you're a coach, you sacrifice in so much. And I put my time in, and I've already said those no's to my family, my daughter, my brothers, my sisters. I've said those no's for a long time.
Right.
So, like, I enjoy football. I love football. I get my football fix on Fox, promoting the game. And then I love learning about other people and their preparation process and their love of their sport. So, like, and I get to have my relationship with my kid where I'm still picking her up every day. Or, at school. I pick her up, take her, when I have her. So there's a sacrifice. I love the time, but it's just you gotta have like coaches. I experienced winning at playing the game. Like, if you're a coach or someone and you love it like that and you're putting that much, you gotta have something wrong with you a little. Those guys are nuts.
How about just don't rule it out completely? And do you mentor any players now?
I do. I mean, I talk with a lot of guys. Social media is awesome for that specific reason.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you hit a guy's story, a young player, or he'll tap into you. And so it's a great way to communicate with young guys through that. I love telling my story and giving what I felt helped me get to where I was at to guys, because that's all you really have once you leave the game is the knowledge that you pass down to the other guys.
Well, that sounds like a coach to me.
I'm a podcaster, though.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Well, so
the perks, you asked me, what are the perks of being...
Get me back and forth.
The owner. You
need a podcast.
No, I don't. My husband has a podcast, but... and I was a guest on his podcast. That's actually how we met. Anyway, so I guess, I can sit anywhere I want. No, I'm just kidding. It's for me, it's about the fans.
Yeah.
And it's about doing things the right way. The way we play the game, the type of players we have. We look at, character, integrity, and it really is about putting together a team of talent, but by coming together as a team, they can exceed their own expectations of what is obtainable for their career.
Yeah.
So it's, that's the part that I love is watching the success of a team coming together and sacrificing for each other in order to win. And, my dad, I learned from the best owner, the most winningest owner of all time, according to the Guinness Book of World Records.
I don't know. Is that good?
That's really good.
Is that good, guys?
And so, he talked about, really if people in our position, our job is to give the team the resources to get to the playoffs, win a round or two. But to win a championship, that comes from inside. Oh, yeah. That comes from diving for that loose ball, for, just making that effort that you can't coach that. You can't, it comes from within. And if you have that special, bond that players play for each other, then, the sky's the limit.
That's when good things happen. A lot of perks. But what's the annoying part of being the governor? You don't make the laws, but you got to enforce them.
I think the part that kind of makes me crazy is when fans tell me, what the coach needs to do or what players to trade for. And, it's kind of like, wait, why are you telling me this? Because, you could not like the coach or you cannot like a move that was made, but like by you telling me how to correct it, you're insulting the people that work for me. And, I'm going to be kind of defensive about that.
It's got to be so much harder to be an owner nowadays because everyone has an opinion behind a keyboard that can somehow get picked up in another way. And there's just so many things coming from you in so many different directions with all the access to social media and the internet and everything. And now we're hitting AI. It's so gnarly. You talk with so much passion about your father, and you can clearly tell that there was an unbelievable relationship. And, you've been in this family, the Laker family, pretty much along the existence of a lot of this. What's like the one thing that like you learned the most from your dad that you use in your life now?
It's about if a deal isn't good for both sides, then it's not a good deal, right? Like you can't, a one-sided deal is eventually going to either fall apart or come back and haunt you. It's just not the way to do business.
Yeah.
And my dad was a very fair man and didn't take advantage of people. And I carry in that tradition.
I love that. That was a fair trade with the Luka thing, I guess. It had to go there, Jeanie. You guys just got the best damn player at like 21 years old.
Look what we had to give up, though.
I know.
Anthony Davis, we won a
great
championship.
Owner. See, that's a great owner.
No,
backs.
Do you know how hard that was? We were not looking to trade Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Dallas contacted us, and he'd been making it clear that he wasn't happy, that he was having to play the 5. Yeah. He wanted to play the 4. So it sounded like he was unhappy. And so, it was a deal that both sides wanted to make.
That's a mega. That was a mega. That's like the biggest trade I've ever seen in all of sport, where you have two faces of the league swapping, and that's got to be awesome. That's so exciting for the Lakers to have another young, prominent face. I think that's gonna raise the Lakers even to higher levels because he's international.
I didn't anticipate the global impact it would have. I knew it was going to be a big story in the NBA, but that he really is a global superstar. And another story that I'd like to tell about my dad is my dad was one of the best poker players, amateur poker players in the world. He was on the poker tour for a while, and in 1993 was Rookie of the Year on the poker tour. So he kept trying to teach me how to play poker. And I'm a terrible poker player because I don't have a poker face, right? Like I can't bluff. I'm not a good liar. And he kept trying and trying to find them. It's like, Dad, why are you doing this to me? I don't like it. I'm never going to be good. And he goes, well, I'm trying to teach you something. He said, a lot of people think that poker is about, bluffing and, he said, it's not, it's a game of patience. And you have to wait until you have the cards. And he said, and I know you can get that part of it. He said, but once you get the cards, you got to be able to go from 0 to 100 in a drop of a hat. And he goes, I'm not sure you can do that. And so, when we traded for Anthony Davis, we had to trade all of our young players plus draft picks, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and draft picks. I knew right then that's what he meant. Like, okay, here's the moment of truth, Jeanie. Can get Anthony Davis, but you got to put your cards in. You got to, this is it. And, we did that. We got Anthony Davis, and that led us to a championship. So I think his lesson was learned.
Man, my dad's still around, but I still have my dad's head in anytime I'm making a decision, I just hear my dad like like the same way. The lessons that he taught me, and that's touching that you still use it. Now, how big is this move going forward?
You mean the trade?
Luka,
Yeah. I mean, I think we need to get the right players around him. I think it's very interesting to watch him play with LeBron.
Yeah.
We don't have enough of a sample size yet, but wow, this kid can pass the ball. Like, he sees the game like no one I've ever. It's I really had no idea how great of a mind he has for basketball. So it's exciting, but people got to remember he hadn't played in months. He'd been out with an injury, so he's going to have to like acclimate to playing full time again. And he didn't play last night. We played in Portland. We won, so all that part is good. But I think there's just it's going to be a lot of fun. Our fans are already
ecstatic,
going crazy.
See Luka jerseys everywhere in Brentwood.
It's crazy.
You go down to the games.
How fast
like, how do they make those already?
And I love that he wears 77, because we've never had, like, if he was wearing 24, it's like, sorry, you can't wear 24. It's retired. But 77, we've never had a 77.
He's got his own.
Yeah.
It's just, it's waiting to happen. Now, how does this move happen in the front office? The Mavericks call you. Are you sitting there like scratching your, like, how does this go down? Do they call the GM and then they contact you and they tell you what's going, like, hey, we got to.
The timeline started, just because you'll never forget that day, January 7th, the Lakers were in Dallas, and that was the night that the fire started.
Yeah.
So
Tuesday.
I was, watching the fires, but also watching the game. And it was, Luka was out. I think Kyrie was out. And I'm like, oh, good, an easy win. Like, we can win this game. And of course, the players were all watching their phones because they didn't know what was happening. Especially JJ, his wife had to evacuate. So it's like they were completely distracted from the game. And at that point, that's when Rob was our GM, Rob Pelinka, was at the game, and he met with the GM of the Dallas team, and they had a conversation, and Rob thought about it for a day and then came to me and said, here's something that was kind of talked about, a framework. And I said, well, I hope you told him that we're not trading Anthony Davis. Like, that's not, we're not trading him. And as then we talked more and more, we figured out a framework that could work, and then the rest went on. And I said, what's the most important thing is that if the conversations become public, it could blow up our season, because now you have a player who thinks they're going to get traded. It's hard for them to recalibrate. So you know what that's like. So it was completely kept under wraps.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it took everybody by such surprise.
Yeah. That's gotta be tough. Like, what a resilient group though, for like the players looking at their phone. I was glued to the TV for 6 days straight. Mm-hmm. Shout out to all the news stations in LA. I was like glued to this thing. They had the maps and stuff so you could see the road with the live pictures. That was a crazy time.
Well, unfortunately, and this shows maybe the lack of our, preparedness from at the government level, was that we were finding out our information from the news, not from any official. It was like there was a lack of leadership, unfortunately. And I agree with you. The news people, they're out there. There's embers flying. I'm like, how does their hair not catch on fire? Like, this is crazy.
They were going nuts. That was a cool time for the community during a very horrific time that I saw for the first time this community come together. That was like my first experience of the LA community coming together to help people that were in need, the responders, people helping people that were from other neighborhoods that weren't affected, and helping, giving time and food. I mean, it was pretty scary. Let's jump in and talk about the hiring process of a guy like JJ Redick. Like, that is a splash, because young gun, obviously brilliant mind, coming from TV. Now, are we hearing pops in the brain when we're doing these? Are these moves where, like, we gotta? How did that process go down?
Yeah, it's kind of like what you have to do is you have to decide, what kind of team, what style of play you want to play. And then you hire the coach that fits that, and you fill the roster with players that mirror that style. It's like, it's kind of like the most important decision you make, and then all the decisions, fall into line from there. And, I had told our general manager, I want you to find, a coach that, mirrors what is important to you in basketball. And I want you to think differently. Like, don't, just do what the safe bet is, somebody, just give yourself the opportunity to, like, think outside the box, to use a cliche. So, we started conversations with Dan Hurley, UConn, which I'm sure you know him, and JJ. And, Rob was impressed with both of them. Both of them had a philosophy that matched his philosophy. And, we kind of went on a parallel path. And, the Dan Hurley path didn't work out. And so we pivoted to JJ and had him meet with key people in the organization. And he just kept impressing everybody. And, it's certainly a risk when you hire someone who's never been a head coach. And he was very, very forthcoming about, like, I don't have experience as a head coach. So, I need coaches on my staff that are going to help, shore up what I don't know. So we have probably the best coaching bench in the league, and Scotty Brooks and Nate McMillan, who've had tons of experience and tons of success in the NBA. And, it all just came together the right way. The one concern I had was, his wife is going to say, no way, I'm not moving to LA.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, they had just built a home. They had just built a home in Brooklyn, and, she jumped on board.
I mean, I think it's been a great little move. Like, for me, I love former players that become head coaches. We just did that with the Patriots, with Mike Vrabel, guys that have performed at a high level, know what the locker room's about, but that are also brilliant minds. Like, I'm sure guys that play with JJ thought he was going to be a coach, because he seems like whenever he talks about basketball, he knows, like, all the X's and O's. That's a football term. Do they use it for basketball?
Yes.
Maybe. All the X's and O terms. Like, he just is one of those brilliant minds, but he also can communicate with the young fellas because he's been in that locker room at such a early, like, not that far removed. So I think it's amazing. You got to tell me about the Forum back in the day. What was the vibe like?
It was exactly what the 80s were all about.
Oh, man. I walked down those hallways because we did the roast at the Forum.
Oh, that's right.
So we did the roast at the Forum. You walk down these, and this is my first time at the Forum. So I walk down these hallways and I see all these pictures. You see the pictures of all the stars that have been there, that have played there. And there's just like an aura about the Forum because you're in the parking lot of the other place. And then with the Forum, it's a landmark. Mm-hmm. You walk in there. We went and I just took my daughter to Billie Eilish there.
Oh,
it was rocking.
Yeah.
Well, like that had to be, did that help you with your experience of learning pro ownership? All that experience that you had doing all the Forum stuff and all your other leagues.
Yes, it was a very important experience for me. I ran the Forum for 5 years in the 90s, and that I needed that experience for the position that I'm in now, because when you operate a venue, you're dealing with the unions, the people, the box office, the food and beverage, customer service, and it was security. It was a really
sanitation.
Good yes. And the Forum is just one of the most beautiful buildings ever built.
Yeah.
And if you notice, the Forum is built halfway underground.
Yeah.
So that it's not this big behemoth that sits on top of the ground. It's beautiful to look at. Yeah, sunken
diamond.
Well, the whole thought, my dad didn't build it. Jack Kent Cooke built it. And his thought was, when people walk into the building, half of them are going to walk downstairs. Like, I'm sitting in the front row. I'm in the downstairs section, right? It was all marketing. And I'm glad that your daughter is a Billie Eilish fan. She's cool.
She's really cool. When we're talking about eating lunch, girls' lunches and stuff, it's a little too much for an 8-year-old. But Dad, try to be cool. We'll hit the concert. There's got to be. What's the funnest memory you have of the Forum?
Oh, there's so many.
Got to be one crazy story.
You know what? It just pops in my mind.
What is it?
That, my dad was the first, owner to have the Laker girls, and people ask me, why isn't there a male dancer with the Laker girls? And the whole point that he made about having a dance squad was that when the men play, they're the center stage. When they take a break, now it's the women's turn to be center stage. Yeah. So it was all about equal opportunity and giving women the chance to perform in front of a huge audience. And so one of the very first Laker girls was a girl by the name of Paula Abdul. And because
she did not tell me.
Yeah, so that's how she was discovered, because she did a lot of the choreography for the Laker girls. And at that time, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, all the Jacksons would come to Laker games, and they liked the way the Laker girls danced. And they hired Paula to do the choreography for their music videos. And then that led to her music career. So it's stuff like that like, it was just kind of the whole world came together for Laker games. And
it's a show.
It's showtime.
It's like, when I went there, I didn't realize they don't even dim all the crowd. It's like one of the only places that does that, because they want everything on the show. It's like the damn circuses in town or something. You get excited when you go to
It's like boxing matches. Yes, that's what they do. It's like, this is what everybody focus here.
And how cool is that? That story about Dr. Buss giving the girls the whole floor. Exactly. This is their time to shine. Yeah. Hey, the boys, go sit down and get some water. Let the girls get a little shine.
Exactly. That's where it's like why are and we do pay the girls money to rehearse, to do everything. Yeah. It's the teams that, don't do that I think it's not fair to, because girls, they have to sacrifice to be there, to practice, to be a Laker girl. So they should be compensated for their time. And so, but why they started canceling the girls, the women's dance teams is, I don't understand it, because it's equal time.
Yeah. I've never even thought of that. That's like such a great perspective. How hard was it to leave the Forum and go to the Staples Center?
Oh, it was awful. It was like, I remember getting in a fight with a fan who said, I don't want to drive down to downtown LA. I want my same seat at the Forum. And I said, well, you can have your same seat at the Forum, but the Lakers won't be there. Yeah. So it's like, it's like, and when the fans are upset with a building, like the hot dogs taste bad. Like they complain about everything, right? And so I recommend to everybody moving into a new arena that win a championship that first season, because then all the complaining goes away. So that, of course, that's exactly what happened. Lakers had hired Phil Jackson as the coach. We had Shaq, we had Kobe. We won a championship, and the fans never looked back. Like, they were worried about losing the mojo that the Forum had and that we'll never win in a new building. Well, we did, and we won 3 in a row, as a matter of fact.
That's crazy, because that's what Mr. Kraft did. Maybe you took another page out of your dad's book. We won a championship after we left.
Foxborough Stadium was a dump.
Is this scripted, Jeanie?
I don't know.
Is this scripted?
I think the universe has it.
Our friends, the maker of 5 Hour Energy, know that losing an hour to daylight saving time can be a nightmare. No one likes the feeling of going through the day missing an hour, which is why they've created a limited time 1 hour energy grape flavored shot as a gift with a purchase leading up to daylight saving time. Early risers and late nighters getting hit hard by daylight saving time. This is for you. 5 Hour Energy knows that any change to your schedule, especially sleep schedule, can be a big impact on the rest of your day. Daylight savings time, stealing that hour, can be really difficult to adjust to. That's why the makers of 5 Hour Energy are giving you a 1 hour energy shot as a gift with a purchase for a limited time. Don't wait or you'll miss out on this limited time offer. Dreading the upcoming time change? You need a 1 hour energy shot available on 5hourenergy.com/DST. Ship nationwide. All right, let's jump into our segment where we go back into time of when the game took place, and we go over to pop culture. This game took place October 11th because of the COVID season. This is weird timing. This was like literally what saved COVID, was being able to watch these damn things. 2020, #1 movie, which everyone was just glued to their screens of some sort, but you couldn't go anywhere. This was a weird year, wasn't it? 2020.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, I was still playing, and I remember we had to get tested every day. You guys did the bubble, which I think would have been kind of cool. It would have been like summer camp, if you think about it. But the routines and stuff of the 2020 was so terrible. #1 movie, The War with Grandpa. Have we heard of that one?
The real pop culture thing here is Queen's Gambit.
That was the best one. Everyone was playing chess in the locker room after this.
You were just playing checkers, though?
No, I could play some chess.
And Last Dance was released around this time, too.
That was also...
That was huge.
What did you think about that?
I loved it. I knew what happened was that last year they knew the Bulls were going to break up because the Bulls management had told Phil Jackson, this is your last year. We don't care if you win a championship. You're not coming back. So they knew that's why they called it The Last Dance. This is our last time together. And so NBA Entertainment, being smart, said, hey, if this is going to be your last year, can we film everything? And then we'll lock the footage in a vault for 20 years and no one will see it, so that everybody, by the time it comes out, everybody will be retired. So there won't create any animosity because everybody will be out of the game. And so there it was 20 years later. You couldn't ask for better timing for it to come out because it was... everybody wanted to, they were so hungry for something new, and it was all footage that had never been seen before.
NBA TV. Is it what it's called? Is that there?
NBA Entertainment.
NBA Entertainment.
Yeah.
Locked it away in a vault.
Yep.
20 years. I actually recently just looked out. It's kind of reminded me of when I wrote a letter to myself in 8th grade.
Did you?
That I got it when I was going to graduate. It was like, hopefully you're going to the NFL. You're graduating from the University of Miami with a national championship, and you're happy.
So Braxton Berrios is living your dream.
Braxton Berrios is living my life. Now, champions, you guys won it this year. Aaron Rodgers, Giannis.
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 Close.
The Greek freak. Now, what are your thoughts on all the international players? Like, there's no American guy. Like, the last MVPs, they've all been international people.
I mean, it's a global
That's crazy
game.
now, huh?
It is. It's great.
I think as an American player, for me, like, I'm like, boys, let's get on the asphalt. Let's get better. We got to get it going. What was life like for Jeanie Buss in 2020? You were in the bubble, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to kind of go back to how that season started. So back to, the off season of, 2019, we made the trade to get Anthony Davis.
Yeah. Big trade.
So now we have this new player that comes in. The NBA, every couple years you're required to go play overseas. And, that's happening in every sports league that you have to go overseas. So that year, October of 2019, we were scheduled to be in China. So,
the logistics for that as an owner.
it's awful. I mean, that's it's a big burden to put on a team.
You got to bring like 600 people.
And so now we are flying over to China, the team. I stayed in LA, but our GM, bunch of executives are with the team. And a tweet comes out from another executive in our league that talks about freeing Hong Kong from, the rule of,
Yeah. Political shit.
Yes. And it didn't sit well.
Did not.
And so as the team's flying over there, they land. And now the decision has been made by the Chinese government that they are no longer going to televise the games that we've flown all the way over there. They did allow us to televise them back to our country. But that's the whole reason you go, is to celebrate, the NBA in China. And now they took down, there was no mention of the games. They still allowed us to play the games. They even thought about not allowing fans to attend the games. So it was very intense because our players they didn't understand what was going on, because there was literally, they watched them take down all the banners of the players, the advertisements. It was intense. And, thankfully they got back safely. But during that time, Anthony Davis got injured his thumb. And, so the season didn't get off to the right start. Once we got back home, the team did start to gel, and we were doing really well. And for me personally, in December of 2019, my mother passed away, and very suddenly. And I remember them calling me and saying, because she was in assisted living, and they said, we're going to transport your mom to the hospital because she's having trouble breathing. And she went so quickly, I couldn't even get there in time. And it makes me think that might have been the beginning of COVID, right? Because they talked about how people all of a sudden they can't breathe, and then they pass like that. And so that was, hard on me. Then a couple weeks later, David Stern passed away.
Yeah.
And then a couple weeks later, Kobe and Gigi passed away. So this all happened in the matter of December and January. And it was just really difficult to process all of what happened. When Kobe passed, we asked the league if we could, we had a game the next day against the Clippers, and our organization was in such shock, we couldn't function, and we had to bring in grief counselors. What I can't get over was how our fans, they didn't know where to go. And so they just went to the arena because everybody needed to be together.
Yeah.
And it was like we were lost. Like it was so hard to comprehend this loss. And, it's still hard to accept 5 years later, but, it just really struck me how important the team, we started this whole conversation about community and what a team means to the fans. And it showed me this is like our strength. This is what brings everybody together, is under the purple and gold umbrella, and how they process the good times when we're winning, but also process the devastating news. And, the Clippers were very nice and agreed to postpone the game. But then we eventually had to get back to basketball. So we played January 31st, and LeBron addressed the crowd, and he gave such a moving speech about how we have to lift each other up, and that through the game of basketball is how we cope with our grief. And that he said, I have big shoulders. Let me carry you. Let me, climb on board. Like, we're going to get through this together. And, that just made me realize his ability as a leader, and for him to articulate all of what we were feeling and what we needed to hear was beautiful. And, so we get back to basketball. We're doing really well. We won 9 of the next 10 games, and, we're looking great. And then at the beginning of March, you're hearing stuff about COVID now,
yeah,
and kind of what's happening. And when you are in a business where you interface with the public, that you bring people together, we were monitoring it very closely. But then there was, a famous press conference with Rudy Gobert where he kind of challenged COVID to come get him. And sure enough, the next day, the league shut down. And at first, it was going to be like for a week, until we figure this out.
That's what everyone thought.
Yeah. And then it became 2 weeks. Then it became, it was like, are we ever going to finish this season? And as time went on, the isolation was unbearable because we were dealing with the loss of Kobe and Gigi. And I remember I would wake up and I'd been crying in my sleep. I didn't even know that was physically possible.
Yeah.
But it was just so, the sadness was so overbearing, and the idea that we couldn't come together as a community was like the total opposite. We had to isolate and be disconnected. And then, of course, Zooms, and thankfully that gave you a little bit of comfort to see other people and talk about how you were feeling, and the last dance, and just things that sports could soothe you, take you out of your head. So then the league came up with the idea of salvaging the season by creating this bubble.
Much needed idea.
It really was brilliant, but it was a huge sacrifice because now you're taking everybody away from their families. and they have to commit to being. We were in the bubble for like 90 days, like that's months and months, and that's a huge sacrifice that the players had to make, and they were able to figure out, okay, we'll take the 22 teams out of 30 that look like they were going to make the playoffs, and then we'll create this schedule. And, you know, I mean, it was something.
Yeah.
And, you know, the players union agreed to it, and we took off for Orlando. And so, you know, they get that going, because now when they get to Orlando, they've got to sequester for 2 weeks before they can all come together. I mean, it was so complicated how they did it, but it was the only way to make sure that you would have a pristine, you know, area that would not get infected. And so they started playing and doing all of that. And then there was a police shooting in Wisconsin of a person by the name of Jacob Blake. And it was, again, another, you know, seemingly, you know, police shooting for no reason, for, you know, and everything stopped again. The players wanted to decide if they wanted to continue to play or not. And mind you, they're worried about their families back home. And this was exactly the kind of things that they were worried about. And so the bubble was fragile, and the players asked to meet with all the governors on a Zoom call. And, you know, it was a conversation that needed to be had in order for the players to feel that we were partners with them in, you know, wanting things to change. And, you know, the players agreed to resume playing again. So after another 4-day break, we came back and played the games, and the Lakers were playing great. And the playoffs started, and I kept saying, well, I'll come to the bubble if it looks like we, you know, might go far in the playoffs. So eventually I joined the team in Orlando, and we kept winning.
Yeah.
And we found ourselves in the championship against the Miami Heat with Jimmy Butler, and of course my idol, Pat Riley.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had mixed feelings about having to go against Pat because, you know, he's
kind of like family.
Like family, right?
Let's jump into it and break down the teams real quick, and then let's jump into the game.
Cool. So the Miami Heat went 44-29 this year. Their 12th season under Eric Spoelstra. This was their first season without Dwayne Wade since the 2002-2003 season. And the prior season, back in July 2019, they traded for Jimmy Butler. This was also Tyler Hero's rookie season.
Tyler Hero.
Heat culture. Pat Riley's the main takeaway from the Heat here.
What's a fun Pat Riley story when you were probably like a little kid? But how was he as a coach?
Well, you know, he really kind of backed his way into being a coach. I mean, he wanted to be a coach, but he was, you know, what happened was he was the color commentator with Chick Hearn on the broadcast. We had hired a coach who had an accident at the start of the season, so his assistant coach had to take over for him. And at that time, you only had one assistant coach.
Yeah.
This was the olden days. And they needed to fill the assistant coach spot. So Paul Westhead said, how about Pat Riley? Because he's been with the team. He's watched practice. He was at training camp. He would be a good fill-in. So Pat became the assistant coach under Westhead. We won a championship that year. But then Westhead wanted to change the offense. Magic Johnson didn't like that. Westhead was let go, and Pat Riley became the head coach. And I'll never forget, because, you know, I'd known Pat when he was, you know, just the radio guy. And I was walking down the hallway one day, and his nickname was Riles. Like, that's what you call him. I'm like, hey, Riles. He stopped me. He said, call me coach. I'm coach now. And that's when he like started slicking back his hair, you know, like he knew, like everybody knows me as this. I have to like now command respect as the coach. So everybody needs to think of me as coach. So from then on, I called him coach.
So he went Gordon Gekko from then on.
Yep.
Slick back. Is he the best dressed guy in?
Oh, it's like he was like the most handsome, best dressed. I mean, he was LA for sure.
Freaking Pat Riles. I'm not calling. I'm calling. No,
don't do it.
Let's jump into the Lakers.
They went 52-19. This is their first season under Frank Vogel, the second season of the LeBron James era in Los Angeles. In the offseason, as you mentioned, July 2019, the Lakers traded for Anthony Davis.
What makes LeBron special? You told the story about him and his leadership post Kobe. After that, through this run, when did you say, like, this guy's a bad man in a great way? Like, bad man meaning good man.
Just watching him work, like in practice. I mean, it's hard to comprehend
his age.
What he does, at his age, and that he's hungry for it and that he works so hard, because there's no shortcuts for this guy.
It's Kobe-esque?
Yeah, but in a different way, you know, like he's just, I mean, his physique, he's like a train.
Yeah.
Like he's just so strong. You can't stop him. If I saw him coming at me, I'd be like, oh my God, scream. It'd be so scary.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably what 90% of the league says.
Exactly.
Oh, he's so
scary. Get out of his way.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of this team?
Well, here's, you know, I will say that I kind of came from the philosophy, you know, kind of inspired by Phil Jackson, that when a team wins a championship, they should have the right to defend their championship. And we didn't do that. And I regret that. And one of the players on the list, that Markieff Morris, just rejoined the team in the trade for Luka. He was one of the players that came. And I told him, I said, I'm really sorry that we didn't get a chance for you to defend that championship. And I'm really glad you're here. And, you know, so we just, you know, obviously didn't win a championship the following year.
But that's still like the year you guys had going into this. It's like storybook ending stuff.
Yeah.
This is storybook ending. That's
LA needed that.
LA needed it.
LA was heartbroken over the loss of Kobe. And you know, there was one play that AD won a game, I think, in the Denver series, where he hit a shot at the buzzer and he screamed Kobe's name.
Yeah.
And everybody heard it because there was no fans, but everybody could hear it on the microphone, picked it up. And that's how we all felt. This was for Kobe.
What does Kobe mean to the Lakers organization?
Because he came and played 20 years for one team, that made him very special, because he could have easily been traded and chased rings or whatever, but he went through one rebuilding period after winning 3. You know, we traded Shaq to Miami, kind of hit bottom for a couple seasons, but then Pau Gasol came and he won 2 more. So I think that really endears a player to fans, because they stick with it. They stick with their team. And, you know, he loved the Lakers and the Laker fans loved him. And, you know, I talk about how glad that we had the opportunity, because we retired both his numbers. He wore 8 and 24. Oh, yeah. And if you just took his career as number 8 and his career while wearing 24, both of those players would have gone in the Hall of Fame. So we decided to retire both his numbers, and we had an opportunity to celebrate him while he was still alive. And I know that Kobe knew how much we loved him and appreciated him.
What's your favorite memory of him? Your story, like what's the one thing, like your happy place? He was somebody that, after my father passed away, he saw that I struggled, and he was always trying to cheer me on, and I was with Phil Jackson for 15 years, and when Phil took the job to go to the New York Knicks, the NBA literally made us sign an agreement that he and I would not talk about basketball. No cahoots.
Yeah,
you guys can't be in cahoots over there.
Right. And, but when two brothers are running two different teams, or, it's something about the male-female relationship, which I don't know how fair that is. But anyway, that kind of eroded my relationship, because he was in New York, I was in LA. But when Phil left, he said, I want you to know I can't help you anymore. Like, you can't call me and bounce ideas off of me, but you always have Kobe, and Kobe will always have your back. You can trust Kobe. And, Kobe was that friend for me.
Wow.
And you can't replace that.
No. Sorry for bringing it up.
No, that's okay. I love to talk about Kobe, always.
I can see how much you care about him through how you answer your questions and how big of an impact his career had with the Lakers. It's very touching. It's crazy. Everyone remembers that day. If you're a sport fan or any kind of fan, everyone remembers that day.
Well, in Luka's press conference, once he was traded here, he said the only thing that would make this better is if Kobe and Gigi were here.
Yeah.
So even he
understands.
Yeah.
He understands. The Lakers, you guys have so many great players, and you don't want to miss any of them. We got to do like a word association. First word that comes up to your mind when we bring up a player. Shaq.
Goofy. He loved to play pranks, he's like a big kid.
Kareem.
Brilliant mind.
Brilliant. Magic.
His smile could light up, Los Angeles. Like he and Los Angeles are soulmates.
LeBron.
Tough.
Phil.
Zen.
Your dad.
He loved this team.
The Lakers. He's just synonymous.
Yeah.
Synonymous.
Yeah.
Let's break down this game.
Okay.
The season was suspended on March 11th, 2020, and after 141 days, the season returned July 31st. In Walt Disney, 22 teams went to the bubble. The bubble consisted of 13 Western Conference teams and 9 Eastern Conference teams. They would play 8 regular season games to nail down playoff seedings. And there was also a play-in game on August 13th between the Portland and Memphis that would go on to play the number 1 seed Lakers to start the tournament. And Miami were the 5th seed from the East.
And this was post Dwayne Wade. Game 5, the gameplay of this thing, it was kind of a blowout.
Game 6.
Or Game 6. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a blowout, wasn't it? When did you know the game was kind of... Because you guys went up 20, and then they came back, and then it got... When did you feel, all right, we're getting it. It's in. It's in the bag.
Yeah, by the second half. But can we go back to Game 5?
Game 5, real cool.
Well, I mean, we don't have to. I mean, it's just that Game 5 we lost, and I wore my best outfit thinking.
What was the outfit? More importantly,
I don't remember, but it was like, I thought, okay, I'm going to be accepting the trophy because we could win.
I mean,
and like,
did you have a?
It was my better outfit, like my outfit that I wore. I mean, I'm in the bubble. You can't go shopping. I've been there for weeks,
Did you recycle? What did you do for the next outfit?
I just wore a blazer and a shirt. I mean, it was like I had a better outfit for game that I wore for. I mean, yeah. So
it reminds me of like when you have a good hair day for a man. You have to shower.
Yeah.
You don't want to shower because it'll mess up the hair, and you're never going to be able to get that hair like that again.
That's my hair. I had a bad hair day too.
Bad hair day. Well, what was the day like in the bubble? Like pregame? What's your pregame?
It's like there's nothing to do.
You're hitting the buffet.
Yeah, there's like they had a menu, but there was like 3 things on it.
Oh yeah.
So like you're eating the same thing every day. You're having the same conversations because it's only, like 50 people there.
You didn't send someone to go get you a little Jimmy Butler coffee that he was selling in there. I heard he was slanging coffee, wasn't he?
Yeah, but they
it's like
really,
prison.
They kept you so far apart, like you just couldn't. It wasn't like a party. It was like, just go to your room. Go to your room. It was awful.
Now, the atmosphere inside when they had like the fans and the fake fans and you know what I mean? How was that? Had to be almost like a practice.
It was bizarre.
Because when we were playing our games, we played in empty stadiums. And I remember playing in Seattle, and it reminded me of high school football when you were scrimmaging against another team because we could hear them making their calls. You could hear their coaches on the sideline. You could never hear any of that. It was just like all you heard was like the love of the game, which there was something special about that. Mm-hmm. Was it like that for basketball? All you hear is just
yes.
That's all you hear because there's no surrounding noise.
Yep.
So you guys have it in the bag. You have your second best outfit.
Yeah.
Did you have something prepared for afterwards to say to the team?
Yeah, I had my speech and, written out, and
that's your Super Bowl.
Yeah, so like it was really important to me to get that right because that's what the governor does. And if you notice in my speech, I talk about the fans and how it was really for them and that we were going to bring the trophy back to LA where it belongs. And so now I'm done with my speech. And normally the commissioner would hand you the trophy, right? But we were like, everybody was like 8 feet apart. So that part didn't happen. And I didn't want to walk over and pick up the trophy myself. And so I said to the players, that's your trophy. You pick it up. Like, I'm not going to hand it to you. Like, I don't need the photo of me holding the trophy. So if you notice, I never hold the trophy. I walk over to the team and LeBron comes over and hugs me and whispers in my ear, I told you we would do this. This was our goal and we did it. Like, enjoy this moment. And that was really, he's done it a few times.
Yeah,
so he had better practice at it than I did.
It's something different though when you're a Laker. I mean, it's the Lakers.
Yeah.
There's the Celtics, Lakers, that's basketball.
Yeah. So now, we win 17. Now we're tied with Boston.
Tied.
In terms of championships, but then they went and won number 18 before we did. So
we'll get there.
You guys, 2 more.
It'll get there. So the clock hits 0.
Lakers win 106-93.
Clock hits 0. First thing you think about?
Do I go over and give Pat Riley a hug?
Oh.
And I didn't. I mean, I felt bad. I didn't. You know, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to
competitive.
lose. Yeah.
You talked about it, about sport being so much about relationship. And I mean, the relationship that you've had with Pat Riley and the success that you guys, those memories to see after the game, in between the lines during the game, everyone, we want to kill you. But the aftermath, like that's when you appreciate your competitor and that real human side comes where you're like, oh man. But it was, you know, did you hug him?
No, I did not hug him, and I felt bad, but
it was still kind of weird to hug people then.
Yeah, yes. We were all still wearing masks until we got down.
I was thinking about when you talk about LeBron hugging you, I was like, man, people probably got so scared about that during COVID, like people touching.
But just recently, I had the wonderful opportunity to be on a Zoom call with a bunch of our former Showtime players and surprise Pat Riley with the announcement our next statue is going to be Pat Riley that we're going to have at Crypto.
Let's
Arena.
go.
Yeah, so we're in good, you know,
You guys,
our relationship is still great.
that statue garden, by the way,
is cool, right?
I mean, that thing is awesome.
Yeah.
What's the threshold to get in the statue?
There really isn't yet, but like Pat Riley, you know, just, you know,
Slick, but you gotta have,
it's
gotta have
like
Pat.
so cool. Yeah, people want to see it.
Let's put a bow on this game.
So, as we mentioned, the Lakers won their 17th NBA championship. This is the 11th for the Buss family and first for Jeanie as control as governor. And the Celtics have won 5 since the Buss took over. So everyone likes to do Celtics, Lakers, but 5-11. Let's go.
He's from Boston too.
Yeah, but I'm a hockey guy. You don't want to hear what I think.
Okay. Thank you.
And this was the longest season of NBA history, 377 days.
Much needed, though. We needed this because there was no entertainment. Everyone was so bored out of all the same streaming stuff. That's what's awesome about sport. Brings people together.
There's only so much Tiger King you can watch. LeBron James won Finals MVP and got his 4th ring and moved to first in career playoff games with 260. The Lakers and the Dodgers both won a championship this year. And then in 2024, LA hired JJ Redick as head coach.
That's the aftermath.
And so I was the first female governor to win a championship.
Let's freaking go.
And my first thought was, who's going to be the next? Who's going to be the next? I mean, it's
her first thought, who's going to be the next? And you're also the first female and first owner in general to win the in-season tournament ever.
Yeah.
That'll go down.
Thank you. That was cool too.
Let's score this game. So the last thing before everything, we score the game and we see where it stands on all the games that we've done, because the reason for this show is to determine what's the greatest game of all time. Let's name the game. The Banner 17 game. These are some that we came up with. If you have a name that you want to name the game, you can name it as well. South Beach versus Sunset. The Bubble Banner. Bubblicious, Ballin' in the Bubble, La Bubble Championship, or anyone that you have that comes up to your mind.
It's like Banner 17. Like
Banner 17.
We still like call it that.
Banner 17. Yeah. Let's score the game. Is this the greatest game of all time? Let's score it. Stakes, Jeanie. 0 to 10. Decimals okay. Stakes of this game 6 game. To cap off the championship, the stakes of this.
I would say it's a 9.
9.
Yeah.
I'd say like 9 too, because this was like a needed thing. Like I'm just saying, for like the world, this like basketball was like the only thing we had going.
Yeah.
Only thing we had, and fighting.
Yeah.
You know,
Jack had an 8.1. I had an 8.0. Star
power of this 0 to 10 decimals. Okay.
9.5.
9.5. I'm gonna go with an 8.8 because they didn't have the fans and the star power of the Lakers. Does Jack Nicholson have to pay for his courtside seats?
No.
What's a fun Jack story? There's got to be one fun Jack story.
Well, let's put it this way. There's a reason we have him sitting next to the visiting bench, because they just never know if he's going to be the Jack from The Shining. He's a little
Here's Johnny.
Exactly.
Awesome. Gameplay of the
Jack
game.
had an 8.7. I had a 7.8. Gameplay.
0 to 10 decimals. Okay.
I would say an 8.
It's an integrity type score because it was blowing out, then they came back. I'm going to go 7.2.
Jack had a 6.5. I had a 6.1.
And then lastly, we grade the name of the game. Banner 17.
10.
10.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a 9. Because we all know what it... Like, the cultural relevance, everyone knows Banner 17.
Jack had an 8.5. I had a 6.3.
What's it come up to?
An 8.17.
Where does it stand on the list?
That puts us right here, 26th, just below the Shrug game, 1992 NBA Finals, Game 1, Blazers versus Bulls, and just above the Millennium Wave.
With Larry
Hamilton.
Hamilton. You remember the Millennium Wave?
No.
It was on Time Magazine.
You mean just the wave that he was riding?
Yeah, it was like the biggest.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The heaviest wave
It was
of
the
all
heaviest
time.
wave of all time.
Yeah, that's
you know Laird,
great.
probably.
Oh
He's
yeah,
in LA.
I do. Yeah, I do. And that, I love that. Then is that what? Who came up with that name? Did you guys come up with that
The
name?
Millennium Wave?
Yeah.
I think Time did.
We wanted him on the show because he's awesome.
No, he's amazing. So, did you give him other suggestions?
We did.
We Googled some stuff, and because he's not a competitive surfer, he's like against the ocean. We looked up, and then we found this thing like the Millennium Wave, and we looked into it. And it was like in 2000, he rode this crazy wave that was like the heaviest wave.
So
of
we
all
broke
time.
down the wave. We were breaking down the game.
Yeah.
And then we broke down the surfer of Laird and his resume of the other waves that he surfed. But this wave has taken lives.
Yeah.
Can I find this list somewhere?
Yes.
I got to go through this.
It's brand new. We can send it to you, but it's actually
yeah,
now
send
live.
it to me. I mean, honestly, this is amazing.
We've had some fun.
A little Patriots heavy if you look up to the top.
Of course.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is completely. There's no bias in any of this. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, Jeanie, did we miss anything?
No.
Did we? We gotta plug some stuff. The WoW. Can you talk to us about WoW?
Yeah, it's my passion project. I've invested my own money, not Laker money. I saw a need. There's so many great Division I female athletes that don't get a chance unless you're a basketball player, or a golfer or whatever. There's no place to go pro after. And, if you played field hockey or, whatever, it's like women deserve a place to go, and they've become athletes. They've shown the dedication and the sacrifice of what it takes to be an athlete. So where can we help them get a platform where they can perform? And so we're the only all-female wrestling outfit. We're in our 3rd season. We're in syndication. In LA, we're on KCAL on Saturday nights at 11 o'clock.
Hell yeah.
And, I can't tell you the amount of talent that we have. And what we do is, women come and try out. And if they show potential, we train them. And, it's character driven. It's good versus evil. It's wrestling. But our characters are great. They're over the top. But what's important to me is that these women fight their own battles. They don't run to a man to save them. And I think that's an important message for young girls, especially there's so much bullying that goes on. And to be able to stand up for what you believe in, stand up for yourself, so that, there's messages, but it's still entertainment. And
I'm going to send you one in about 10 years.
Okay, no, it's like
you're a
girl dad. You're a girl dad. I'm telling
saying you got 10 years.
And so I also, if I could plug, next week. There's a show that will premiere on Netflix called Running Point.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm an executive producer, along with Mindy Kaling, created the show. And it's loosely based on a character like me that, ends up running an NBA team. The team's called the LA Waves. It's not the Lakers.
We didn't want to go licensing.
It's much easier.
Yeah, much
I had
easier.
to get league approval.
We're dealing with that right now with the project. So smart.
So see,
Smart.
like that's it. I'm very happy, and so it gives us license to be able to come up with storylines. It's really funny, and the lead actress is Kate Hudson.
Oh, yeah.
Who is a movie star. So the idea that we were able to get her to do this part. She's fantastic. So that drops February 27th. It's called Running Point.
Running Point.
We've been talking with Max Greenfield to come on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
to promote the show. Yeah.
He plays my character's fiance, who's a doctor.
Well, thank you so much for taking time and coming to the Nut House. We are so happy to have you. We feel like we finally made it. Being in LA, having Jeanie Buss in the Brentwood studio. Thank you so much, Jeanie.
Thank
There's
you
so
for
much. It was
having
so
me.
fun to learn from you and hear your passion for the game and your memory for everything has been crazy. Just like hearing your knowledge of all the rosters when we're breaking down roster, not of the Magic Johnsons, but we were talking about the guy who you just traded.
Yeah, Morris.
Morris.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's how in depth you are with everything, from the hot dog stand to the freaking charity events to making your own other enterprises. It's been so awesome to get to have you here. Thank you so much for coming.
Jeanie, what an interview.
Well, what an interview.
Owner.
No, governor.
Governor. That's right.
No, governor.
Governor class.
I didn't know that's a thing. I had no clue.
Me neither.
Is there a governor in NFL? I wish
think
I'd
so.
asked her that.
Are there mayors too? You should have saw the face she made. I don't know if I can say this, but afterwards, because you and Jay Moore were going through the whole thing, and we got to get him on the show too. He came.
Yeah.
We told her, talk about the scores. Man, I was really impressed. She gave a great score, really integrity score. And I was like, Mark Cuban gave 10s to everything, and she was like, had the biggest eye roll on the planet, which was just like, she's like, classic Mark. I was just like,
Just like the owners club.
yeah.
They all know.
I wish we dove into more of the owners' dynamics, but
I know.
yeah, it was okay. It
I
was a
feel
good
like we
interview.
can get Jeanie again.
Yeah, she was great.
You know what? Ever since we've done this episode, watching those Lakers a little closer.
I know you're getting a little flirting with the enemy.
I'm not flirty, but it's just like I'm out here. Celtics games on are at fucking 5:00. I'm at soccer practice at 5:00. I can't catch the Celtics game. I get Lily down. We're she's in bed by the time we're in the third quarter of the Laker game. And all of a sudden I see Luka and Austin Reeves and fucking LeBron balling. They look pretty good. Jeanie, let's go. Well, it's about that time. It's that time. It's time for the Chill Zone, brought to you by Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/GWN. Celebrate responsibly. Oh, that's a great sound.
It is a great sound.
It's like a refreshing sound.
For today, I've got a little surprise for you.
What do you got? Jackie!
Boys, what's up?
What's up,
How we
Jackie?
doing?
How you been, brother?
I'm hanging in there, but I'm hurt, man. Bob Sugar was in the nut house without me.
He's pretty cool, too. You guys would have he's a Jets guy, Jay
Ooh.
Moore. And you could tell he knows sports. He loves sports.
I
We've been
figured,
kind of
man.
communicating via text.
Ooh, is he trying to sign you, bro? He's trying to Bob Sugar you?
Nah, we're pod swapping. We gotta get him on the pod. I think he'd be a fun guest.
Butt fumble.
Butt fumble game.
Yeah, or some sad Jets game. Butt fumble might be earmarked for Vince.
he's hurt. Jeanie was awesome. You would have loved her.
Is she gonna hook us up with some courtsides or what?
Hey, yeah, I'm not. If you're, I won't. I'm not an asker.
I know we can't. We're not.
if
We're
I-
not that kind of guy.
You give a mouse a cookie, they ask for a glass of milk. Okay. Maybe you should give us a
I'm
couple
trying to be sitting
tickets
down there next
in
to
the
Jack,
rafters. I know the Celtics already came in town, so
Fuck, I know. Maybe I'll have to wait till the finals.
Are you saying Luka,
I don't know.
Austin Reeves, Lele taking them?
Wait a minute. Did you guys already crack this bad boys without me, by the way?
Get up in there.
Ready? It's like when Lil Wayne used to spark the lighter into the mic. Oh. How good did that sound?
That sounds good. Oh, Jackie, settle down, Jack.
Cheers, Bubs.
Settle
Sorry,
down,
I'm just
dude.
so excited. I'm just so excited.
It's so good when it hits your lips. Where you been?
I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit. We talk about this internally at the Nut House, but this hasn't really gotten out to the people. So I'll speak candidly here, if you will, Jules. You mind?
Yeah, go ahead, speak candidly.
There comes a moment when...
I like that Coors Light in the background, too.
Yeah.
No, on the way back.
I come
by your mirror. Is that where you get flossed in the background? Is that where you're...
This is where I get my fit pics off.
Yeah. All right,
Snap a
Kate,
little
what are you
mirror
doing?
selfie.
Where you been?
As you know, in the Nut House world, when you hit a certain age, you got to go out on your Nut House mission. Kyler went down to, I don't know, the rainforest, I think, in Brazil or something. You were in the outback out in Australia. So I'm over here in the American Southeast, moving up into the Rust Belt, mid-Atlantic area. I'm just trying to convert these people to being Nut House members, bro. I'm trying to spread the good
You're going
word.
to circumcise the people of Southeast America?
He's not
like
Tebow.
Like Tim Tebow.
It's more of the Mormon route, bro. We're just
I'm
sending them
knocking
out
on
there.
doors, bro.
Instead of the shirt and tie, the little short sleeve shirt and tie, we give them Nut House hat.
We go 47 brand Hitch hats. We wear black tees. We get a company issued Honda Ruckus. And I'm just going door to door, bro. Knock, knock, knock. Have you heard the good word of Ernest Adams? Maybe the teachings of William Belichick? Mind if I come in? And then I
Excuse me, what do you think the greatest game of all time is?
Wow.
You'd be amazed how many people, they don't know about the Millennium Wave or, Game 6 of the 2007 opening round, Baron Davis dunk. They just don't know, dude.
What's the weirdest doorstep? There's some weird people over in those Appalachians where you're at. I bet.
Boy. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you go into
It's been eye-opening to say the least,
That's what
bro.
I want to know. This is what I want to know. They should make a TV show of all the crazy stories of the Mormons going into neighborhoods that they probably shouldn't have been in. And there's got to be some crazy stories about Mormons going to Texas, going on property line, guy with a shotgun coming out, chasing them, or you going up in the hood and stuff,
What's the Book of Mormon about? Is that about the founding? What is that?
I forgot, but I saw it. It was really funny.
They're someplace.
They go down, they get sent on their mission. They go to Orlando. Or no, they want to go to Orlando. They get sent to Africa.
Yeah.
So hilarity ensues.
Exactly.
An all-timer.
What about those Mormons that roll up into Africa and there's got to be a group of people that are who are these fucking people?
Yeah, it's insane, bro. It's insane.
Hat swap in mid-combo? Hat swap in mid-combo?
I just got drafted, bro, by Team Coors. But the thing is, dude, you don't really get kicked off porches or pulled shotguns on you when you got the Coors under your arm. They let me right in.
They let you right in.
Next thing you know, you're talking about the Subway Series from 2000, Mike Piazza, bro.
All right, I want to hear it right now.
Yep, lay it on me.
You're knocking on my door. Let me hear your pitch. Yeah, what do you want, dude?
Sir, do you have a moment to hear about...
A moment for fucking what?
Do you know about 28-3 or some of the other greatest games of all time?
You mean when them Atlanta Falcons pissed down their leg?
Yep, that is the game, sir.
What about that game? That old Brady boy, he pretty good.
Would you like to know what happened at halftime of that game, or who came up with the phrase "gotta believe"? Just a few more things about it to really learn about this game.
What else we got, kid?
I got a 12-pack of Coors if you don't mind.
Come on in. Why didn't you say so? Come on in.
Works every time, bro.
Wow.
Works
You
every
got
time.
me.
See, told you. It's something else, man. A lot of full conversions, some partial conversions. So I got a whole book full to show you when I get back.
I can't wait to see the book.
Yeah. Of course, a full is you subscribe to the YouTube RSS feed and us on all social platforms. Partial is just maybe RSS, TikTok.
5-star review
Twitter,
on
that sort of
Spotify.
thing. Yep, we'll take what we can get, but you'd be, Kyler, man, it's eye-opening, bro. You'd be amazed at how many people, they don't even know what the RSS feed is or a YouTube short. So I'm just doing a lot of teaching, bro, but a lot of fellowshipping and evangelizing and proselytizing. It's great.
As long as you're spreading the gospel of the nut house,
Every day, brother.
you're good,
Every
Bubs.
day. I'm doing it the right way.
And our holy water's Coors Light. We just sprinkle you with it.
A little dab will do you.
There you go.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thanks,
We'll
Jack.
see you soon,
Bye,
brother.
guys.
And also,
Thanks for
people
checking
back
in.
home know Jack's a part of all the shows, right? When he's even not here, he's in Riverside. He's texting me constantly. So, like, if anything's like smart comes out of my mouth, mostly it's just Jack's line. So, like, Jack DMing us. So, Jack's very much a part of the show, even if
He's
he's
just
not
sliding
here
in DMs.
physically.
Kyler's wearing a wire every ep, bro.
He's wearing a wire. He's got an earpiece.
Yeah.
All right, Jackie.
Oh, man.
Thank you,
Can't wait to
Jackie.
be back in the flesh, boys.
We love you.
Love you, boys.
Late.
Later, dog.
Late.
Great to hear from Jack.
So good to see him
Excited to get him back.
soon.
In the nut house,
I'm
ASAP.
hearing whispers. We got some couple episodes lined up that are going to be awesome.
I miss him, but we have him in. He's like we said, he's here.
but
Here.
just-
He's here.
yeah.
Well, that was the Chill Zone. Thanks to our favorite beer, Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/GWN and celebrate responsibly. What a game. What a
Jeanie.
guest.
What a guest.
Thanks again to Jeanie. That's been another episode of Games with Names. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Comment a game you want us to do. And remember,
Rate and review.
leave us a 5-star review on Spotify while you're there. Remember to follow Games with Names on YouTube, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Snapchat. Leave a comment on the YouTube full episode. We'll read the best ones in future episodes. So leave a bunch. We love those.
They're great. Keep them up.
Leave a message on the hotline at 424-291-2290.
And then one more thing. Go check out Ephus in theaters now. Support our Nut House brethren, Tim, in his movie Ephus. Check it out.
Ephus,
Ephus, like the pitch.
let's go.
In theaters now.
We'll see you guys next week. Games with Names is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.